Hello to the 90 million who did not vote in the 2024 elections, and to my fellow female activists. Hello, Kathy Bettis, and we are here. This is an extra, so we just get into it. Today is July 1st, 2025, and today the worst of the worst has happened. And democracy pretty much is, basically, I wouldn't even say on life support anymore. Fascism has been here since January 20, 2025, but now it's, basically blowing up. And if we ever hope to bring back democracy, then this day is going to be living in infamy as one of the shots to democracy to take it down. So we are talking about today three different topics. So I'm Kathy Bettis. I am a wellness coach, and I happen to be a fellow female activist, as who this channel is for. And I obviously am very interested in not just helping my fellow female activists become or create their own wellness plans, but I have always been curious since the 2024 general elections back in November, how 90 million people decided it was a good idea to sit out the elections. So I previously, just yesterday, put out a really quick video to the 90 million. And I actually needed to break that down even more because I'm not just talking about people who registered, or I should say, people who I'm more interested in those people who have never registered to vote, but could have registered, meaning that they weren't in any way prohibited because of possible prior criminal convictions. So they don't have status yet to be able to vote. Maybe they're underage, meaning you get to be level age 18 to vote to begin with. And then there are those out of that 90 million, again, who were registered and chose not to vote. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to, again, out of the 90 million and not part of those three subgroups, the 90 million who have never registered, because there is hope for you. So this is for you. This is also, again, though, for fellow female activists who probably already know this information, but it's just good to share. And again, anyone basically who wants to make sure that if, let's say that they do somehow buy products that are inside the US, that they're not already contributing unknowingly to the fascist regime. So we just found out again that today the Senate, the regime majority, have decided to pass a budget that basically will kill people. And there's no other way to say it. It's the Maga murder bill. And I say that with all knowing, with the conscious knowing that YouTube will probably strike this down, this video. But we digress. So what you're looking at is topic number one. So I wanted to, again, speak to the people who are not registered to vote, even though they could be. So they have no type of criminal record that would prohibit them, okay, or make it harder to vote. And they're already of the necessary age. So they're past, or they're age 18 or over. So this is for you. So anyone, again, whether you are living in the US and can vote or not, this first topic is really important. So this website that you're watching or have been looking at since I started is Good Unites Us, okay? Goods Unite Us, Goods Unite Us. And it's a wonderful website, but more than likely you would use it as the app, so you can get the app. But what you do is you select any, or you type in, okay, and it looks a little different, right, on the app, but you type in whatever service provider you or product, that you want to use. So let's say, in this case, unfortunately, all of the mobile services here in the States, there's only 4 major ones now, and they're unfortunately pretty much mostly bowing to the oligarchy, to the regime. But here is an example of what you do. So you load whatever, again, it could be a service provider, it can be, any brand you can think of. What you're looking at, okay, is their score per this website. So the people behind goodsunitus.com basically have put together I believe it's a nonprofit, right? Because they ask for donations, but they basically have done research. Okay, they research companies, organizations, right? And they will then grade them based on how much donations have been contributed to the two major parties in the US. So, T-Mobile. If you can't guess why I put this up, it's tearing me up right now that I just gave money to them. Now, I knew this, okay? I've known this since probably 2 years ago. I don't know when the website went up originally or when the app was available, but since last year, I started using this app. And I did talk about it in a previous, I know I did, in a previous video in my YouTube channel. But as you can see, in this case, this carrier, this mobile carrier, happens to split it down the middle, supposedly, as to how much contribution their organization as a whole will give to the different parties, okay? So this gives you a way to consciously decide which vendors are going to get your dollar. Now, because of that budget, most of us are not going to have very many dollars to begin with. So we get to be very, very, very certain that we are utilizing the dollars as efficiently as possible, but also that we are then contributing to the companies that are not trying to take down, or rather trying to escalate fascism. So again, T-Mobile is an example. And if you keep going down, it kind of drills in a little bit more, okay? So again, there is a reason for why you have to be willing to fight fascism. Where it matters probably the most at this point is in the dollar amount. Where are you spending your money? Okay, so again, what it does then is that it gives you some what you'd call suggestions, right? So it gives you suggestions. These don't necessarily mean that they're talking about only specific to mobile services, but you get the idea. And then you get reviews, okay? So it's a very useful way, again, to go about deciding where are you going to spend your hard-earned money. And now, okay, that you know that this resource exists, not only can you contribute to its continuation, right? But you can use it readily. I now have changed how I buy everything. So I will throw other people under the bus. So I often went to, by the way, I did use individually owned hairstylists, but because of convenience, I would go to this place. And as of just 2 months ago, because I don't get haircuts, I get haircuts probably, every other month, but it's not something I think about, right? And because it's a chain, why would I? I just like, oh, okay, whatever. But then it hit me, wait a minute, this is still a company I give my money to. And look at that. Well, well, well. So, do you think that I'm going to be getting my haircut at any of these locations? No. So, look at that. So, guess where Kathy's going to start going? Yeah. So, again, it's up to you how you decide to utilize this on a daily basis, but I assure you it is such a wonderful way to at least put your mind at some ease that the decisions that you're making daily with your dollar are making a difference. How we make a difference, because let's not kid ourselves, if you're not aware, and 70% of the population in the US had no idea that this budget was even up for a vote today. Yay. Out of that 70% of people, if only, oh my gosh, if only like less than 100% of you, like, in other words, we want to get to a 3.5% tipping point. What does that mean? if only 3.5% of the population out of the 90 million, I'm not even talking, you know, just 3.5% out of the 90 million, again, who just are not registered to vote. If you started using this and then got registered to vote, do you know how quickly the fascism would stall? It would come to a halt, a screeching halt. Okay. Why? Because fascism, which is connected to capitalism, which is connected to white supremacy, all rely on your dollar. That is why we are in this predicament. Okay. So again, goodsunitas.com, very awesome. Again, there's an app that makes it very, very easy to use. So you can, again, bookmark this and it will be useful to you. And then I want to make sure that I stop sharing and then go to the next topic. So first off, again, today, July 1st, 2025, the Senate passed the worst budget ever. And now it's going to go back to the House. So there's still time to kill it, but you gotta stand up for your rights. You get to call your MAGA-owned representatives. Again, House gets to vote on it one more time. If they cannot confirm the vote, then this bill does not kill 17 million people that are going to be kicked off Medicaid. Okay, so now what I'm going to talk about. In a previous, again, in a previous extra that I filmed, I talked about the different YouTube channels that I use as independent media resources. I don't watch any legacy media anymore. I don't watch it, like it's a joke, basically. They have capitulated to fascism as of January 20th, 2024, 25. Now, interesting enough, they capitulated a long time ago. They basically decided to give deference to a misogynist, to a white supremacist. You know, in 2016, they treated the current occupant of the White House like he was a savior. And by golly, they got what they want because now he is your demigod, okay? And the MAGA movement, they just needed someone grotesque enough to carry the fire burning inside all of them. And now it's out for everyone. And so in my pursuit of truth and real news, I stopped basically all the regular media, and I went to YouTube. Because why? Because independent media is where you're going to find the real live information. So with that said, point number 2 or topic number 2, now that we are going to see concentration camps, okay, pop up everywhere in the US, okay, could be in your backyard, you get to not only be informed better, okay, because nothing you see on any national media organization is even close to coming to what's happening, all right? They're owned and bought by the same people who want fascism to survive. So let's be very clear though. Fascism is its weakest at the beginning and at the end. We're 6 months into fascism now, okay? So we still have a chance, okay, to make sure that we are not suffocated, okay? Think about it this way. We are now dealing with what people in the 1930s dealt with in Europe. And so be aware, yeah, you're living in fascism, okay? And it's only going to get worse unless you start fighting, okay? And we only need 3.5% of you out of that 90 million, not out of the 340 plus million people in the US. No, 78 can't be saved. They're MAGA. Then you had again 75 million who actually voted to save democracy. So I'm talking about the 90 million, okay? And out of that 90 million, I'm even taking more out. I'm taking those who actually were registered to vote, but chose not to because God knows what you were thinking. And then I'm taking out those who cannot vote, whether because of age and or because of prior convictions. There's different scenarios where you cannot vote, even if you try to petition back to get that right. So who am I talking to? I am talking to a third of the 90 million. And out of that third, I'm only talking to, we only need 3.5% of you to get off your butts and to start fighting. That's not a lot of you. That is 12 million people in the US to start a national wave of fighting back fascism. That's all it takes. That's it. So to, again, the portion of the 90 million who could have voted, but were not registered at all, but legitimately could have registered. All right, so resources. So now that you're getting awoke, because you very well have lost your Medicaid, you have lost your SNAP, you have lost parts of Medicare, that's coming too. Parts of Social Security, yep, that's coming too. You could lose pretty much all your benefits at this point. And that's not fear mongering. Hello, it's in the bill. It's a $1,000, it's a 1,000 page murder sentence for the US population if you're not part of the 0.01%. 0.01%. That's like 100 people, okay, that are not going to be affected and actually be made more rich because of this bill. All right, so how you can get involved, okay, and you can start in ways that aren't going to scare you. So I'm going to suggest two different ways, and those are the two next points. So point number one, my wonderful mentor, and I'm going to show you, she has two websites now, okay? And the reason why I want to show the actual pictures is because I want to make sure that you know what they look like, and I'll have them in the description below. But I wanted to make sure that you paid attention, okay? So, all right, so now you should be seeing, okay, the YouTube channel for Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. She is phenomenal. She is a former practicing attorney, a lawyer. She actually was a law professor at Columbia. Unfortunately, Columbia capitulated, but nonetheless, up until then, it was what you'd call a stellar university. So nonetheless, but she knows what's up. And she was in the field for many years. And then she decided, because she's always been involved in social justice issues, she then started her own company and now consults and helps, you know, organizations definitely get in on how to fight for social justice issues. What I wanted to make sure you saw, again, she has two channels now, though. This is the original one, so it's her name, okay? And again, I'll make sure to link below in the description. And then she has the ripple effect. Okay, so this is the newer one, but definitely this just started like not even a few months ago. Okay, so there's not a lot, but this is all free information, and this is mostly all free information. She does have Patreon, she does have a membership for YouTube nonetheless, but her, among many others, and I'll link the other video that shows the different YouTube channels that I go to daily to get information about what's happening in the US fascist country now. So meanwhile, again, very, very awesome commentary Tuesday through Friday. She will go live 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and she gives you the lowdown of the daily, what's going on and what actions you can take. So then again, the ripple effect, she puts out these really cool videos that are shorter in length and they drop every Monday. So the reason why I wanted to make sure I showed you that is because I wanted to make sure that you knew, again, where to go. And again, I'll put those in the descriptions. But this is an example of how independent media is more robust and willing to cater and help and support the masses. You're not going to get any of this support from mass media, or I'm sorry, legacy media. Why? Because they're bought and owned by the same freaking corporations that want to see fascism reign supreme, okay? They don't care anymore about democracy. It's all about how rich can we get? So these sort of independent media sources, absolutely crucial to the fight that's up against us. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of it here. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so that was point number 2. So you want to start really getting acquainted with outside independent media sources, because what you're seeing on, even if, let me put it this way, you probably don't even listen to anything. And that's why you and 70% of the US population didn't even know that today was, a new beginning for fascism in the US, simply because you didn't even bother to find out that the budget was up today to be voted on. So with that said, what I'm going to show you now is the third point here, the third topic, which is Elizabeth, okay, has a program. She ran it previously, and then I was in the inaugural reboot of it right after the elections in 2024. So right after the general election in 2024, which 90 million of you did not attend or vote in, she ran what's called the Dual Power Accelerator. And the reason why this is important is because if you are new to any sort of political commentary, if you are new to this world of, oh my gosh, the idea of a democracy falling, and now I live in a fascist country, how do I deal? Okay, well, that's why you pay attention now. And you will go every day to get your daily intake of what's up and how do I participate to stop fascism. That's what the independent media is for. So in this case, in Elizabeth, you can go check her out, right? So when you do that, though, she will tell you again that she is running, and it starts this month. Okay, so I forget the due date, but I'm going to show you. You can be part of the 10-week program. Yes, there's an investment, okay? You would go to this website. So it's her company's name is the Gaia Leadership Project, okay? And so this particular program is called the Dual Power Accelerator. And it is just what it says, a 10-week training for disruption, community building, solidarity, safety, and survival. And it was spectacular. This saved my sanity right after the election. I was very heavily involved, okay, in that election. And when it did not go as we all thought it would, we really thought that we were going to see democracy survive, and it did not. So here we are. But I went through this program and it was phenomenal. It starts so courageously and even shares with us how to grieve, because we are all grieving the end of democracy, and then yet still we have to survive and keep going. So this dual power, again, it starts this month, and so you want to go ahead and make sure you get put on the waiting list. And then from there, obviously you get to see if it's something that you're going to be able to take care of. But I assure you, it is phenomenal. It is, oh yeah, it even shows here what's going to be part of the curriculum. So this is important because if all of us have never experienced fascism, or at least not at this level, because let's face it, those who have always been marginalized, yeah, their reality has been quite different from those with privilege. But needless to say, there will always be help because of people like Elizabeth. So I would highly suggest that, one, you get registered to freaking vote. So we are praying that we still have elections in the coming months. Whether they're free and fair, that's the big question, right? So we got to be ready however we can. We want to make sure that we are aware of what is happening daily, because it's going to change quite frequently, and it's based on where you live. So getting up on the different up to dates, okay, as frequently as you can within your limits, that's important. Do so. And again, I'll put the other link to the original video that I shared that shows all the different YouTube channels that I frequent. Then you want to make sure that you are participating, okay? Resistance looks different for everyone. Again, we only need 3.5% of the population to start getting involved, because then that means, as a marketing rule, once you get that tipping point of 3.5% of the population catching on to any type of new trend, okay, it doesn't matter what the trend is. There's something about our psyche that says once 3.5% of the population adopts something new, it becomes normal and it becomes part of the mainstream. And that is what we want. We want to not get normalized to fascism, and we want you to fight every way you can. And resistance, again, looks different every single day to every single person. But getting involved means you need to be educated. It is required. You have sat out civics for all of your life, and this is what has come of it, fascism. Now you get to stand up and make sure that you are in the know so that you can fight it. Again, fascism is weakest at the beginning and at the end. We want to make sure it ends quick, okay? So you must start getting informed and then share this with others. And then they will share it with others. And that's how that 3%, 3.5% grows and grows. And just to leave you with this, general strikes are going to happen. Now, we've already seen that there have been now already deaths, not only because of ICE, but people in the streets protesting. And it's scary. I'm scared. But guess what? I'm still going to fight, because not just for my own freedoms, but for the freedom of every generation after me. We should not be here. And if you even think for a moment that I will give up, you are wrong. And if a 5'2" Latina can stay in the fight, guess what? You can too. However that looks. Resistance looks different every single day. Your dollars are so part of this equation. Where you spend your dollars matters, absolutely. So always be thinking about, how can I be in resistance? That matters. Then you decide, how do I feel safe enough to go and participate? That could be a phone bank. I've been on phone banks every week for the last 3 weeks. Again, phone banking, text banking. It's about talking to the people around you. You, as not being registered, and then you get registered, you can then show someone else how to get registered. We need everyone to fight fascism. And again, I'll leave you with this. The House votes like ASAP on confirming this horrible bill. You can call your Maga, freako, psycho representative in the House and tell them no, vote no on this. That's the start you get to make. But meanwhile, get informed, get educated, and get in action. Please. For now, take care, take charge, God bless.